Okay, hi everyone. So last time we were working on gluing and screwing those little strips of wood that are going to hold the turn buttons. So I will be working on the turn buttons in maybe a few sessions, after a few sessions, because I have to work on the tabletop also, because that's how I'm going to test my turn buttons. But right now I'll be back to my working on my drawers, the big drawer. If you remember, I had built a prototype, so now it's time to work on the actual drawer. So I have my panels sized. Let me bring those. So these are my drawer panels. I'm using Poplar for no reason, but this is the first time actually I will be working on this wood species. I've heard great things about it for hand tool enthusiasts. It's so easy and such a joy to work with. I did find it very easy to work with when I was dimensioning and planing. So this is going to be my, I did by the way mess up a few things, but I've tried to glue a strip here just to, it's a thin strip because this side was just wanted to salvage something. So by the way, the dimensions here, the fact that if you remember, I'm using instead of using traditional wooden runners, I am actually relying on the drawer slides that I bought. So I have to make sure that these are exactly as per the dimensions they require. That is one. So this is my prototype that I had built. Now the reason I wanted to build a prototype is I wasn't confident enough whether I will get the dimensions accurate or not. I didn't want to spend on the actual, or didn't want to waste actual wood. Rather than spending time and effort on dovetail joints, I don't mind at all. In fact, my prototype also has really good dovetail joints. All 4 sides I have built. So I enjoy working on dovetails. So that was not a problem for me at all. But I just used regular 2x4 for this prototype. I still have those drawers attachments here. So I will be working on the real thing now. So this thing works for me. So it's as per these dimensions. I did realize I had to increase the depth a little bit. So that is the whole advantage of prototypes in a lot of cases. So here again, this is going to be my front. So the height at what I have kept is approximately 8 inches, 7 to 8.5 inches, all works. You can also have the full size, I think, oops, the depth I can go to, the height of the drawer, depth of the drawer, however you call it. So in my case, it's almost like an 10 and an 1/8 inch deep I could go if I want to build a full size drawer. But there is no reason really to build that high. I mean, it depends how much you want to go with. And especially if you want to go the traditional route without those runners and all, the runners that you buy from the market, then I would think that it's better to keep it lighter. Just saying, but I think it may still work with this dimension also. I didn't measure it. It's like a 32nd over 8 inches. So those will be my side and this front. The front actually, it's whatever I had, 3/4, I believe. I kept it that way. Yeah, exactly 3/4, front and back, because that doesn't matter as much. And I mean, I didn't spend time to reduce the thickness, but these ones, the side ones, I have bring it to exactly 5 by 8 inch thickness, because that's what my runner requires. So now is the time to lay out the dovetail. So let me first put it here to decide on how I want my drawer to be laid out. So for front and back, obviously I have like, this is the only way I can go, because you can see my back panel is lesser in height than this. The reason being, even both with traditional style and even for me in my case, I don't need the full height because I want the slider to be replaced at any point of time. So we'll come to that. So this is lower height, so it will remain on the back. As you can see from Poplar, not sure if it is coming on camera. So every piece has like the regular greenish part and the whitish part is on the top. I will keep it aligned that way, all 4 pieces. So I want it this way. And this way. This bad retrofitting that I did, I will try to keep it on the back. I first try to name A and B, something like that, like for adjoining joints. So for example, this side I'll put a A, and the top of that A points to like the top of this thing here. A, B, B, C, C, D. So this becomes D. Now I know like this is basically like D and D, they should go as dovetail joints and all. That's how it helps me. Now we'll come to laying out the dovetails. So the dovetails, like as with drawers, we always have it on the sides. The pins are on the front. These will be through dovetails because there is going to be a one of the panels that we built that will be attached on the face. So we don't need, there is no reason to build like half lap or half blind dovetails there. And for some reason, I find it more enjoyable to do slightly more enjoyable. I like both the through dovetails. I don't know why. I mean, of course, it's slightly easier also, I feel. Faster rather. Easier. And for me, like, I don't mind. Like, in fact, I like the idea of showing the dovetail fronts just like this. I'll show you. So let's say you have a face clearly visible on the front, and this is how your dovetail would look like. I don't mind this look. I actually like this, but I also understand that the general mass, or it's there's like the front face of the drawer to be clean, like smooth. So in that case, you have to go with the half lap dovetails, unless you have a separate like a face frame. So in my case, obviously I'm going for through dovetails for the front one. But what I was trying to say was that even if it were visible, sometimes I don't mind showing that. But yeah, depending on your customer, in my case, it's in my home. So probably my wife will prefer it to be smooth and modern finish. So that's now the next thing we want to jump to is laying out dovetails. So this is a wide piece. We'll be having 5 dovetails for this. That looks aesthetically just fine. I can just go ahead and mark on the pencil this way, or if you are concerned that you don't want to do too much rough work on this, which should be fine as long as you're light with the pencil. Couple of plain swipes at the end will clean this off. If you're concerned, always like put a masking tape or a blue tape and do the layout on top of that. So first what I want to do, so what I have decided is, this being a big piece of drawer, obviously always I like follow Paul's advice of having full size pins. Lot of like folks like half pins here. which is fine. It's just that it's fragile. It's more fragile. Full pins give it more rigidity, and they look just fine. So I will go with full pins, meaning my pin size is going to be 1/2 inches. So how we do that is we draw like two parallel lines on both sides, like 1/4 inches, half of half. I'll try to keep my pencil very light here, because you can like draw like parallel lines like and by the way, I can also put one mark here. So what I'm basically doing is that whatever like lines those I'm drawing, those are the center of the pins. To lay equal sized dovetails, we just try to go between those two lines and divide to a number. So in my case, like 5 dovetails. So I want like to go to a number, a length that is that can divide, that is divisible by 5, divisible by that number of dovetails. So for 5, I want to go 10 inches. If I had gone straight to straight, I had to like in my case, like it's like 8 and a 32nd or a 16th of an inch. It's hard for me to do the math to divide it. Even if I use a calculator, then how do I mark it? So the whole point is that this makes it easier. Excuse me, 10 inches. I will burn 1 inch and try to mark that way so that it's more manageable for me. Trying to get as close as I can. Starting from 1, so ending at 11. Okay, so now I have to mark like dividing it to 5. So 2-inch gap, right? So here 3, 5, 7, 9. So now those are all the center of the pins. Now I could just use a finger gauge like this and lay it out here, like bring it to the end. I don't have to spend that much time. So here, so for example, I'm using this as my gauge. I measure it here, go to the top, mark it there. That's my center. This side, that one, center. It doesn't have to be like extremely accurate, because remember the pins are cut based on the, so this is like too difficult for me. So this one, at least, because it's too far like away from my finger, so I at least try to do one. Good to get a practice. From this side, it should ideally be the same distance, because it is. So all the centers of the pin have been marked in my case. Not sure how much of it is visible, but now I am going to go like quarter of an inch on each of those on either side. So on the center one, so each of those I just put my ruler, go quarter of an inch on either side. On the end pieces, quarter of an inch on the inside. Okay, so now done. I will now quickly tell you like how much my so we can, the whole idea I'm like checking the dovetail length is just to see around what length, like if they are like around the same length. So slightly less than an inch is this is slightly, this is exactly 1 inch actually. This is 1 inch. This is slightly less than 1 inch. This is like slight around 1 inch. So if I were accurate with my finger gauge and all, ideally like everything would have been aligned, but I will take that. If I had used combination square for everything, probably I could have. So I have like templates. I have 1/6, 1/7, 1/8, everything, but I keep switching to the 1/7 marker. Just raising the camera a little bit for. Yeah. Now using this, I am going to transfer this to all the other pieces. By the way, I am going to have dovetail joints on all four corners of the drawer. Traditionally, when you make drawers on the using the traditional style, that's not how you do it. I mean, the reason, of course, it's going to be very strong because you have four-way dovetail joints. So ideally, that would be the strongest. But the reason we don't do it that way is because uh, the traditional style, they go with the wooden runners. So there is a housing dado at the back, like a dado joint or a housing dado. Let me put this as a piece, like as an example. So what that does is that leaves some, like you leave some margin like at the end, so that it gives that ability of the full extension kind of a thing. So you can pull out the drawer, that will still like lever or like what do you call, cantilever against that piece, and the drawer won't fall off. So that's the advantage. I am not doing that because I'm using externally bought runners, and so that itself will provide me the ability of full extension, so I don't need that. By the way, this is the first time I'm having to work on so many dovetails on a piece, because this is the widest piece as far as I remember for me. I think the maximum I may have done is 3 dovetails, I think. I don't mind all these steps, following all these steps precisely for dovetails or anything, especially, but especially for dovetails. It is very enjoyable for me. I'm not worried about when my project is going to be complete. I am actually more worried about when this completes, what am I going to do until I find a next project. So it's super fun for me, this journey. Maybe I will go with a little, like to take a break. I am going to go work on a smaller project after this. And then after that, again, I have to jump to another project. And you never know what may come to my mind. It could be a stool, it could be a table, it could be another box. We'll see. So I have marked the dovetail thing on all of them. Now I have to mark the, I'm starting with A. I have to mark the approximate pencil line, the temporary line that we normally do. Like this. Put my combination square there. Feeling it like flush with my finger. Now while I am at it, so that's the whole advantage of marking the adjoining faces. So on the A, I can again go like switch the pieces around and mark it here. By the way, one more thing I wanted to mention here beforehand is that this back panel, you see, you're not sure how much of it is visible. There is a visible crack until this length. This one, I'm pretty sure this thing will crack or will see a split like when I'm working on it. I'm hoping that if I'm sensitive, I can still get it to fit. Once I have the dovetail joint assembled, this is going to be rock solid because that entire dovetail joint is going to keep everything bound. The risk is that if it is too tight around this area, this may split up bad, and then I will see what mitigation I would use. But for now, I'm watching that part, hoping it all works out for me. But you never know. I don't like throwing off these pieces just because of these simple things. It's in any case a long grain. Worst case scenario, I'm going to rip that piece into two sides and then again glue it back together, something like that. Again, I have to dimension the things and all those things I have to do, but that's better than having, it's not even yes, this is expensive, wood is expensive, but more importantly, it's coming from a tree. I just don't like the idea of throwing away something just because of those reasons. I would try to salvage as much of it as possible. Basically, if everything goes through machine, probably you don't have to worry about the face edge and all those things, because machine, in more likely calibrated machine, will keep everything accurate there. But we won't learn this traditional technique of having a registration face and edge, that without requiring that level of machine level uniformity. How can we still get very accurate fine furniture? So that's what teaches us hand tool woodworking. All right, this layout is done. I mean, the temporary mark, because I am doing on all of those pieces, seems to be taking a little bit longer. So I will concentrate on A. I have made the mistake in the past of cutting the dovetails on where the pins were supposed to go and all that kind of thing, but I'm double checking again. Yeah. So I'm setting the same angle, without lifting the template. I'm skipping one and marking. So now I will twist my template, or flip my template, and then go to the skipped ones. Just I think a more efficient way, faster way. Now, this being in such a so many dovetails, I will mark which sides I am cutting out so that I don't mess up things. I bring my dovetail saw. Good idea to oil it. Okay, now we start. trying to saw until just above the line. I'll come back to the other side is because I'm experiencing too much vibration on this side because it's not clamped. I have to move it to the other side. So while this is clamped this way, I will just go to the other one. To clamp it on the other side because this side there is just too much vibration. Difficult to saw, it impacts the accuracy. I am looking at this side is my face edge, so which means I have done it properly. I should be marking it. Even more accurate would be this way, but this being such a long piece, it's hard to hold that. And also I remember this piece was, yeah, went through power planer, so I'm pretty sure like this is accurate, or like that width is same as on the side. So I am going back again to see. As close I can get. I mean, feel flush with my finger. Now I have to mark. I only mark the pieces because this is going to show up. So where the recess is going to be cut out, I'm light pass on all of those. Now a second pass is heavier. Now the top piece, I just got this 6-inch combination square. The 12-inch is the most versatile. That's the only thing that is needed. But since I invested in a 6-inch one, I will just use this for the sides. It's nice to have, not a necessity. The end pieces are going to come out. So this is the back side. So I could go all the way. I typically build a habit of not to such a large piece that it's very hard for me to hold the combination square. I could go all the way. This is not going to be seen, but just sometime, oops, my square moved. That's a problem. The square shifted. Basically nothing wrong with going all the way. More efficient sometimes, I would think. I have to find the appropriate size chisel. This is fine. I could, yeah, this is I don't need to do the side pieces because that is going to be, I'll just be sawing those off. I'm establishing that knife mark on the ones that are in between. First pass is like very light. I don't want to like beat down on it too much. Can't see the wall here. Slightly like skewing the chisel like this, it's helps gain the depth without like without bruising the side walls of the dovetail, which we don't want to bruise at all actually. This chisel was, I had sharpened it yesterday. It's cutting like butter. Such a joy to work with. You know, tools are sharp. So it barely took me 10 minutes to sharpen all my chisels. Like, I mean, I have more chisels, but say 4 of them. I believe I sharpened 4 chisels yesterday. So barely took like 10 minutes or 15 minutes at the max. Now I can go slightly heavy. Still, I don't want to pound on it if I hear the dull sound. It's definitely like very easy to work with. That's what I have found in just few sessions. And what I found was that this white piece, the relatively like whiter piece, is slightly harder. Maybe it may not be a pattern always, but at least for this one I found that like that is a slightly more tenacious than the greenish area. No, that's an observation right now, not that it's Not sure if you can hear it. There is a difference in sound from one side to other. That is purely because, like, I think this has a little bit of, what do you call that, cup or bow. Uh, it's such a wide piece. It's even if you plane it the next day, it's going to change. So I'm not trying to fight against that. We'll see. Like with a properly made dovetail joint, that is going to bring it to alignment. I could use the hammer here, like it's just that its chisel is sharp, and I feel more control just if I can get it just using my hand pressure. And with a properly sharpened chisel, even with oak and all, we can get it through hand pressure. It's not. I have done that. So I sense this is going to break off in this chop. Yep. That one didn't. I'm not going to force that. This one didn't. One broke off, but 3 of them are holding. That's fine. Patience. I mean, if I could have hammered 1 or 2 times more, probably it would have broken off, but that wasn't intended. I have to be careful. Yeah. Just applying mild pressure because don't want to burst through any. Yeah, this one is like about to fall off now. Let me go the other way. I knew for sure it's going to break off, so I chose the front side to hammer into so that it breaks off from the other side. So worst case scenario, it's not going to bruise the good side. So here, now I'll just get rid of those end pieces. Taking a wider chisel. There is a lot of vibration, so I try to push it towards me or pull it towards me. These domino pieces I keep it in the. I immediately collect and throw it in the trash bin because it's not fun to step on those. I should have cut from this side. I forgot. Always like cutting from inside to outside because this Western saw cuts on the push stroke. So we want any, if at all, any bruising, we want it to on the exit side. That's just because I forgot. Now cleaning up the. Just trying to see where my knife wall is. So while I am at it, let me clean up these ones also. So what I try to clean, at least on the center pieces, is that I know for sure because I started from the knife wall chopping. So these end pieces, like, or the edges are pristine. I don't need to touch up anything. So usually what happens, there is a hump at the center. That's what I'm going to feel for it and clean that. Not undercutting again. Joint will look fine if you undercut, but that's not an habit I want to build. It's all muscle memory that we are building. So this is definitely not the last time I am getting Poplar. It's so much fun to work with. The only drawback I can say is that I'm not a big fan of this greenish color. Let's see like how it looks over time, but other than that, just trying to get rid of that small bit there, not trying to pare down the walls of the dovetail or anything like that. Okay. This sharp chisel is like, I have to basically hold it off, like it's so easy to get in. And of course, it's the wood species also, I'm pretty sure. Just slicing through it. Now time to lay down the pins. See? How does it look? Oh, this is the front side. Okay, so I actually completed that dovetail joint, but I thought like I made like maybe some corrections. I would not say mistake, probably mistake, but some corrections in the first dovetail joint. So I will try to rectify that in the second one and show that. So that eventually that dovetail joint, by the way, came out very good. I just disassembled it. But so I already cut the dovetail on the other one. No difference, exactly the same thing. Now I will try to show you the how I cut the pins. This is where probably like some, like the way I lay it out, the layout, the pins and all, no difference there really. But again, use the hand plane as the platform. Too many sharp objects around. Let me move some of those. Yeah. I put this in. Why is it rocking too much? Okay, this is not level, that is why it is rocking. So what I'm trying to do here is more than keeping this flush on the ends, I'm trying to make sure that these gaps, there is no light coming through. I'm just filling up those gaps. And then the next thing I do is I want to make sure that this thing is like aligned, not terribly skewed or something. Now, to be frank, like I could go with pencil because Poplar is as good as pine, I believe, and pencil works just fine for me. But I still want to get the, using my knife, this technique like so what is my goal? To get this right off the saw, not having to pair cut to fit. That is what, oops, this is not what I wanted. I think this all things slipped. I need to make sure. Let me set it up properly. That wasn't it's just such a wide piece that does become a little bit complicated. Now I have to make sure that I already had laid out some knife marks. I don't confuse myself there. So making sure, yeah, I'm right there. But I'll check this again. Hopefully it hasn't impacted my accuracy. I need to press it down, but I can't press too hard because this thing is like, I'm trying to be like gentle with my knife mark and instead relying on multiple passes. Now, what was the correction I was talking about? So my understanding is that, like I have seen with pine, I have gained some experience that with pencil marks, like instead of using knife here, if I use pencil and cut like right up to the pencil line but still on the waist side, I can get a fit route right out of the saw. I follow the same approach with knife, like knife didn't work for me a few times. The reason being, knife gets very close to that one. So when I saw, instead of cutting on the waist side, I still have to be on the waist side of the line, but I have to be almost like on top of that one. So like right on that knife, like as good as like getting as close so that the knife mark is no more visible, but still being technically being on the waist side, but kind of like almost splitting the knife. So That's what I have to do. That's what I am aiming for, and I'm hoping that result should be good. So again, marking the waist side. So that's what I'm going to do now. If it doesn't come out, doesn't come out. I tried. Not the end of the world. We try to learn. I am trying to get my dovetail technique like such that I get it right out of the saw. I'm really trying to level up my skill so that I can get it like at least the like these through dovetails like right out of the saw. So I have to go right up to that knife wall, almost like on top, get that first horizontal like through cut going. Use the vertical line as the gauge. I should not be stopping here because that impacts my accuracy, but I should explain what I'm trying to do. So the top part, like getting as close, like almost on top of the knife mark, that is the first goal. And then if I am not vertical, I'm skewed, then like when I'm trying to fit in, it may try like get tighter and tighter as it goes. So I try to be use that vertical line as my gauge to cut parallel to that. Let me take it to the other side because I was like almost like right on top of the camera. That was the most important part of the dovetail thing. Cutting the pin as per the template, like sawing the pin as per the template. That's what I feel like is probably the most critical part. Now obviously I have to chop out the waste. So let me put this in here. transferring this to the other side. Always a little bit tricky to hold this combination square like for such a I'll just go all the way because it's so clumsy to hold. Slightly deepening this ones. Okay. This is my freshly sharpened chisel. Feels good. Trying to find the Okay, and one more thing I did while I was like chopping the dovetails was I used a slightly different technique. Doesn't impact the accuracy whatsoever, but maybe it's slightly faster. So I will just do it halfway, like approximately halfway from each side. So instead of going in and out from the vise, so that's what I mean. So it saves time going in and out from the vise, and also so I go like bevel down, lift up to split. So instead of going back and forth between the two sides, I'll continue on this side for a few more chops. Now I have to think about the like rake of the dovetail. I'll come from the other side now. I'll probably just do one more like vertical chop. That's it. I think this may break off now or not. No, that's fine. That one broke off. This one probably will. Yeah. This one too. Wasn't trying to hit it any harder, but yeah, sometimes like. Making sure no debris. I will go light on this one. Just taking out a little bit. I have high hopes on this one. Let's see. Again, I'm just cleaning up those leftover pieces. By high hopes, I mean like I am confident eventually I will get it to fit, but I want it to fit right off the saw. I'm not going to force it, but let's see. Two more. By the way, I was not planning to cut the second dovetail joint today, but then since the first one didn't come out as per my liking, I took a coffee break and I was like restless, trying to learn. Like, I'm afraid if this doesn't come out as I want, I may come back again, like spend time like late in the night, but I don't mind that. It will finish my project faster, but I want to get a good crisp dovetail here. Okay, now the real time. Side D, this is where it should go. Taking out the corners, inside corner, not making the mistake to take it from outside, and then it's going to be a really horrible dovetail. With hand pressure, like with obviously with palm, like fists. See, it's going really good. This is what I wanted. Still, it is fully not in yet, but I didn't want it to be loose in any case. So, seems to be going well. Now I will feel like how good. Little bit tight. Tight. This is tight. This is good. I think this will go. There is just a leftover piece sticking out. I'm not pairing anything, but that leftover piece may result in something snagging. That's what I was trying to clean up. Very important to put equal tap on this thing, because if it is skewed, it's going to put a lot of pressure on one side and this may split in between. Guess how I know. What a feeling. This is now without any clamping pressure, without any planing, like it's a dream. Now, one thing we should always do is, which I have sometimes ignored, is I normally glue it up and then at the end plane it. It comes fine, but I think it's a good idea. Like if you can feel something, especially like better to, I think it's very flush, but it's better to plane these things right now, because that will help with clamping. That's what I mean. So I will do that right now. Good shallow setting. So I will back off the iron because I don't know what I was like. If I was like I don't mind if the dovetails are protruding slightly, but if the pins are protruding, then that's what I want to clean up. This thing is actually good. I don't, because the eventual cleanup I can do, and make sure that the letters don't disappear when I'm planing. I have to write it again. So they're still there, but I don't want to mess up those things. This one, I'm not too worried about these ones because my clamp is going to be pressing this way. So if the pins are protruding, I cannot press on those clamps. That's what I meant. So this is like the dovetails on the front of the drawer is complete. Front of the drawer, I mean. So this one goes this way. Now I have to work on the dovetails on the back side. There is a slight bit of difference there, if you remember. So this is thinner. I have to make sure that this is aligned from the top. All right. This is going good. Yeah, I'm really feeling very happy because of how this dovetail came out. See you next time. Probably I will just work on the dovetails like without recording. We'll get back and work on the grooves at the bottom to put the base. Yeah. See you next time.